lovely Thursday morning. Welcome to the Camnet Breakfast Show with your usual host, Patrick Soko, and I'm not alone. I'm with my Thursday co-host, Makokwa Kozi. This morning. Good morning.
Good morning, thanks. How are you today?
Fine. How is it going?
Not bad. It's beginning to get a little bit warm. The weather seems to be changing, and I think that we should be bracing ourselves now for the hot season.
Yeah, we are heading there, and we have to prepare for that. Interesting enough, to get started with our breakfast show this morning, we also have to look at our health matters, and that is a segment for the doctors where they get to bring us various topics so that we can get to understand the diagnosis and treatment. So let's have a look at the health corner. We'll be back shortly.
Hi, good morning. Welcome to today's segment of the Health Corner on the Breakfast Show. I am Dr. Nakuya Namfaya. In today's topic, we are going to talk about the prevention of cholera. This week, we have been talking about cholera and how it is caused and some of the symptoms. Yesterday, we talked about how cholera is treated, and we discussed that cholera can be treated with antibiotics, but more especially the need for rehydration in patients who have cholera because it causes dehydration. So today we are going to talk about how you can prevent yourself from getting cholera. So good sanitation and hygiene is key in the prevention of cholera. And some of the things that you can do are, one, make sure that you wash your hands every time you use the bathroom or every time you want to eat your food. Make sure your hands are clean and washed with soap. If you are not able to wash your hands at the time, you can sanitize with an alcohol-based sanitizer. Secondly, make sure that you wash your fruits and your vegetables thoroughly before you can eat them or before you can cook them. Number three, make sure that you drink clean and safe water. You can do this by boiling the water that you drink or chlorinating the water that you drink. Make sure that the water is clean and safe for consumption. Number four, you need to cover your food every time you are done eating. Make sure that it is free from contamination, from flies, and cover your food. Make sure that your food is covered before and even after you finish eating to prevent it from being contaminated. Number five, make sure that you buy food from people that you trust and know that their hygiene is excellent. Do not buy food anyhow on the streets. You may never know where you can get the bacteria which causes cholera. Number six, ensure the proper use of toilets and pit latrines in our homes and in the public places. So this week we have been talking about cholera, and we have learned so much about cholera. We have learned what it is, and cholera is an acute diarrheal disease that causes diarrhea, and it's caused by a bacterial infection that is called Vibrio cholerae. This infection gets into the intestines and causes one to lose a lot of water from the body. Cholera can have no symptoms, but sometimes it can cause severe symptoms that can cause dehydration and, if not treated, can cause organ damage and even death. Cholera can be treated, and it's important that you get help or get medical attention as soon as possible. As soon as you discover that you have cholera, it's important to go to the hospital. It can also be prevented by good sanitation and hygiene practices in our homes and in our communities. So make sure that you are washing your hands, make sure you are washing your food before you eat. Make sure that you are sanitizing your hands. Make sure that you cover your food and cook your food thoroughly and cook your food very well to prevent you from having cholera. When drinking water, make sure you're drinking water that is chlorinated or boiled. If you are not chlorinating, make sure you boil your water before you can drink it. So that has been what we have been learning about this week and what we have talked about this week. So I hope you have learned something, and I hope you will be able to practice good hygiene in your homes and in your communities to prevent cholera and to prevent the spread of cholera. This has been the Health Corner on the Breakfast Show on Camnet TV. Be sure to watch again next week. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Well, there you have it. That was the Health Corner there with Dr. Nakubia Namufaya. And we hope that you did manage to get abreast with our topic for the day. And we move on the Camnet Breakfast Show and look at how the kwacha is performing this morning. Let's have a look at the money market. So now, the Greater British Pound is buying at 24 kwacha, 73 ngwe, and selling at 25 kwacha, 22 ngwe. The Euro is buying at 21 kwacha, 19 ngwe, and selling at 21 kwacha, 60 ngwe. The South African rand is buying at 1 kwacha, 01 ngwe, and selling at 1 kwacha, 03 ngwe. So the US dollar is also buying at 19 kwacha, 42 ngwe, and selling at 19 kwacha, 18 ngwe. So there is your money market. If you look at the US dollar against against the kwacha, is buying at 19 kwacha 42 ngwe and selling at 19 kwacha 80 ngwe. That's quite tragic, as the update that we got this morning at 17th August 2023 at 07 hours. It shows that we have been on a negative trajectory, because now we are heading towards the 20 kwacha mark. And if you look at the rate of inflation was also up, and it did reflect an outward adjustment at over 10%. It is hit a double-digit inflation, and that is, however, against the target for us to work on the inflation.
Sure. So as you have seen that we are heading in the negative trajectory also, and heading towards a 20 kwacha. The US dollar seems to be gaining against the Zambian kwacha. So I feel that there is a lot that has to be done. My plea always is to have the kwacha stable at whatever rate it is. If it can be stable, it would help quite a lot of things, especially those businessmen and women that do cross-border. Go to Tanzania today to go and order goods that are at with a rate of 18 kwacha per dollar, and then you come back, you find that it's at 22 kwacha, 21 kwacha, or 19 kwacha, somewhere there. So I think that we need to work on the stability of the kwacha.
Yes, the kwacha stability is very vital for us as a country, and looking at this, then it means that our Finance Minister Dr. Stombeko Musokotwane may be presenting the national budget against the background that the country is fighting a double-digit inflation, and that is also off target in terms of what was projected in the 2023 national budget, where the government was seeking to maintain a single-digit inflation between 6 to 8%, but now it's gone to 10%. And looking at how the kwacha is depreciating, it shows that it may increase further for this month, as the Central Statistics Office makes that announcement probably next week on Thursday, we are going to see that the inflation rate is going to continue going upwards, because I don't see indicators that can speak otherwise in terms of it reducing. So that is quite bad. And cause talking about inflation, I was having a look at how Zambia's inflation rate has been over the years, or rather how Zambia's economy has been growing over the years. The highest Zambia's economy grew, cause it was in 2010, where we were at over 10%, and the minister then was still Dr. Stimbeko Msogotwa. So now we are growing at 3 to 2% at the moment. So what can we do to make sure that we replicate that growth that we experienced in 2010 to have that growth of the GDP?
In fact, that was one of the UPND's campaign messages. We'll come and fix the economy and grow the economy. Now they have Stimbeko Msogotwa, a vastly experienced person in issues to do with the economy and financial matters. And he is the person who was in charge of the ministry again in 2010 when we showed that economic growth. So I think that we just wait on the UPND now to show us.
Yeah, we just wait.
What they told us, that they could grow the economy during the campaigns. They have the right one, and also the president himself is the right one.
He's been campaigning on an economic perspective as an economist. That is able to, he understands these things. It's not like he's speaking from a layman perspective, but he knows the sector. So we can only hope for the best in all those circumstances, because at the end of the day, a stable currency, a stable economy is what Zambians are expecting, so that they can be able to go by their businesses, at least with a lot of hope and a lot of anticipation in terms of progress, in terms of growth at personal, at company level. So we'll continue to keep our fingers crossed, so that we just see how this government will try to turn around the fortunes of this economy. Now, moving on, we have to go to our next segment where we look at the stories that make headlines. Zooming headlines, we have to understand what are some of the stories that are making the headlines. Do we have?
Yes, we have quite a number of interesting stories that are making the headlines that we will be zooming in this particular morning. But before we do that, we have a message on our social media page. So remember that if you want to get in touch with us, if you want to get interactive with us, you can go to our Facebook page, which is Camnet TV. Go to the broadcast, because this one is live on Facebook. Go to this very broadcast and then go to the comment section and leave your comments there. Mr. Walker says, this message, I think, is responding to the health talk that we had. He says, I will never forget the year 2020, the year I washed my hands regularly after 30 minutes without expecting food.
Think about the COVID-19, is it?
So this is the time when COVID-19 was rife in 2020. Yes, it was discovered in 2019 in China, but it came to affect Zambia. I think that was April 2020. And one of the precautions was always wash your hands.
Every time you touch these surfaces and stuff, say no.
Wash your hands.
Wash your hands. Your phones, every time you sanitize your phone. All those things. It was quite tense, and we have to always observe that kind of discipline, because the COVID has not gone for good, because it's still with us. Though we can just be happy that it is not affecting us as it was in the past, because I think lucky enough we have managed to continuously evolve and develop mechanisms on how to protect ourselves, and especially given the issues pertaining to vaccines, they have also come in handy, and they have proved to be a good intervention. So if you have a look at it, it's something that we need to always remember, that some of the issues pertaining to hygiene need to be looked at seriously because the COVID-19 really came hard. But it's still with us. We are seeing that as people still present symptoms of COVID-19.
Yeah.
The lucky part is that the virus is not that strong like before. It just because it's not as vicious as it was because the virus has continuously been evolving and mutating into something else. We had the virus, we had the Omicron. We have. We had various waves that were coming, but for now at least they are manageable. At least the doctors know more about how we can take care of ourselves and how they can also attend to patients who have COVID-19. But when this pandemic was starting, we had no idea. And lucky enough, like you and I were privy to the Zambia Medical Association as a meeting where they were talking about COVID-19. They did also indicate an important aspect of how COVID-19 has enhanced telemedicine. And because people would say, okay, instead of you going to the facility, we just interact with the doctor via phone or via video call or via the assistant. You'll be able to get the attention. They'll tell you, can be able to interface with the doctors. And also it also enabled us to know how to work remotely. Sometimes we had a culture that everything that has to be done in the office. But COVID-19 did teach us that you can actually work virtually.
Sure.
Like for myself, I do not need to come to the office to submit my stories. I can cover my assignment, go home and file my report and send to the office. So that we avoid overcrowding at the offices. So it really played a very vital role in terms of enabling us to be utilizing ICT facilities, because we will now be able to make use of our phones to the fullest in terms of us attending virtual meetings via platforms like Zoom, Google Meet. We were able to do that. So because of the COVID-19 pandemic. So the COVID-19 pandemic came with its negative attributes, but it also came with a plus in that it helped us evolve from the usual way of doing things into this other way of doing things. So I think that's just a reminder, like our viewer on our Facebook page there is explaining, just sharing that experience.
And I think that you are right. COVID-19 taught us how to use ICTs for real, and we most of us people in the communities we are learning of that you can actually have virtual meetings while seated in your home. The office, only 1-2 people there facilitate for a virtual meeting, and you have your meeting even without going to the office. You submit your stories, as you said, even without going to the office. So it taught us one thing, and it also taught us, I think, the most important thing, it taught us to be clean, because you really needed to, as we have observed Mr. Walker, wash your hands regularly, which was a good thing for us. Now let's quickly get into the stories that we are zooming in this morning. We start with the Lusaka City Council, where workers had stormed the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development headquarters demanding payment of their 4 months' salary arrears. Now, the workers who earlier staged a sitting protest at Lusaka City Council grew impatient with their union leaders, who failed to provide them with information on when they will get paid their salary arrears. Now, by broadcast time, the workers were waiting for an address by Minister of Local Government and Rural Development, Gary Kombo. Let's have a look at this report.
The demand for salaries by Lusaka City Council workers LCC on Wednesday boiled over as they lost patience walking to the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development. The workers earlier staged a sitting protest demanding for 4 months arrears, stating that life has become unbearable.
Daughter who's working for Lusaka City Council because I'm not being paid.
Okay. Now the question to answer
basic necessities, we can't even meet them because we are not being
and
paid.
these are the things that
so what's the way forward? You've told us yes.
However, reacting to their concerns, Zambia United Local Authority Workers Union Zulau President Emmanuel Mwinsa told the workers that all efforts to engage government have failed.
Government should be able to ensure that for them to achieve the popularized decentralization policy, to achieve decentralization policy, the benefits are many alimo. Without our workers kusebenza, your policy amene decentralization singa nkale fulfilled. Because decentralization is about kukwelesa ma services to members of the community. Now vajamene vachita provide ma services in the end. Ni vichani vamene vafuniko pezamu ni masalary so that time musunge ma families. So in a nutshell, colleagues, that is what we can say. Stingapitilize kuyanga mafunzo yana.
And when the leaders decided to go to the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development to engage the ministry, the workers could not hold it but tag along. The aggrieved workers walked to the ministry where they are hoping to be addressed by the minister. Waiting for the minister who was reportedly out of the office. For Camnet News, Afias Kaptula, Lusaka.
Thank you very much, Afias, for that particular report. Interesting development there. 4 months without salaries at the council.
Yeah, it's quite interesting with how the local authorities are operating. I think for me, but we were told that after the removal of cadres, they had improved their revenue base. Is it that because they are still competing with cadres or what? Or maybe they are failing to see the windows of opportunities in terms of where they can get revenue?
The council were boasting, actually, a few, I think the other year, when they said that they had started collecting monies from intercity, monies from Limatawa, monies from city market, and that their revenue base had grown. It is surprising now that the council workers are marching to the Ministry of Local Government demanding for salary arrears. I think something has to be done. Where are we going wrong?
Yeah, I think maybe, you know, we were talking to some of the people because on these platforms where we had a situation where people were saying that the councils are getting themselves preoccupied with the constituency development fund, especially at management level, that they are getting involved in the implementation of the constituency development fund, and even forgetting that there are other obligations they need to fulfill as local authorities. Though when we spoke to one of the former union leaders, Mr. Mishek Nyambose, he did, however, say that that was not the case. And
Hey, join me, Amazing Katamanda, on the weekly gospel show for those exciting and interesting interviews with your favorite gospel
Hold on to me when it's too dark to see. You cannot put your power back to Hallelujah.
And this time around, we are bringing to you entertainment news and the countdown, as you guys are able to nominate your top 3 favorite music videos of the week. Remember, it's every Saturday at 10:45. You can also catch repeats every Monday at 10 hours. Camnet TV is not just another time.
Get all the latest updates in court news only on Camnet TV. We take you and make you feel part of the court sessions through our in-depth coverage of the adjudication process. Get informed on those that have been arrested, delayed and denied the police bond or bail victims, persons taking plea, court adjournments, verdicts, and those administration issues in the judiciary. Camnet TV is on channel 274 on DSTV, channel 25 on GoTV, and find us on channel 106 on Topstar. You can also follow and give us a like on our social media platforms, Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Well, there you have it. We are back on the screen. So we had a technical glitch, but that has been sorted out. And we thank you for staying tuned to Camnet TV. However, we proceed. We're talking about a story that we looked at earlier, and that's a story coming from the Lusaka City Council workers who have continued to praise the Ministry of Local Government over the unpaid salaries for 4 months, and the workers are continuing to express concern that there has been lack of updates from the management pertaining to addressing their welfare, and they had to seek the intervention of the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development. And we saw Athias Kaptura there covering the story, and we continue to follow up that story. However, we were talking about the council itself having the saying that they are the muscle to be able to mobilize enough resources to be able to undertake various projects, including paying the worker salaries. Now, we are seeing that there has been adequacy, and I was explaining a point pertaining to the Constituency Development Fund, CDF, where probably there has been an aspect of not focusing on the implementation of the CDF and forgetting other obligations. So I think there's more the council needs to do, because they get a lot of rates, they collect a lot of taxes. So we just don't understand why they are failing to pay their workers. I think we'll have to see how the Auditor General's report, especially pertaining to the Ministry of Local Government, will be. And we also have to look at the report for the councils, reports for the councils on how they have been failing in terms of revenue and what are the inadequacies, so that we can get to understand their teething problems. So going forward, so that we can see what should be done to avoid this trend, because this is not the first time that we have seen councils struggling to pay workers. The councils have continued on that trajectory, especially the major councils like the same Lusaka City Council. It is not the first time they are in this predicament. They have been there before, but they have been able to come out. But are they coming out now? Let's get to see what should be done. So moving on, because let's also have a look at another story where Patriotic Front acting Vice President Kevin Winder says the rally is scheduled for 26th of August 2023, which the PF are planned to launch the party's strategic plan will go ahead as planned, despite the directive by the Zambia police not to proceed with the rally. So let's have a look at this story, and we'll be back on the other side.
The Deputy Inspector General of Police, who were surprised to be given yet another letter. And this letter wasn't even received by ourselves. It was not received by our provincial committee. And in this letter, they are now giving two reasons. The first reason they are giving us is that the launching of a strategic plan does not require to be done at a ground. It can be done in a hall, it can be done in a hotel. It is not up to Malama, officer commanding Lusaka, to tell us how we want to launch our strategic plan. It is up to us. If we want to launch it in our houses, we'll do it. If we want to launch it in a hotel, we'll do it. If we want to launch it in a hall, we'll do it. But this time we want to launch it at a playing ground. It's not up to him to tell us. So I'd like to inform members of the public. The rally is taking place on the 26th of August. We are going ahead because these reasons here are totally unacceptable. But because we're a law-abiding party, we are going to talk to Commissioner for Lusaka Province to tell him that these reasons which your officers gave are totally unacceptable. Come up with better reasons. These ones are unacceptable. And whether he likes it or not, we have the right, the constitutional right to assemble. And no police officer is going to interfere with our enjoyment of that right.
Well, there you have it. That is the PF daring the police that they want to go ahead as scheduled for their planned rally where they want to launch a strategic plan. What are your views on that?
That's very interesting to note that the PF wants to go against police advice as regards holding their rally. But again, when you come to think of it, why would they not be allowed to hold their rally? So it's something that the police and the PF should sit down and agree to say, no, okay, you cannot hold it on this particular date, but on this particular date, we have enough manpower to provide security, so you can go ahead and hold your meeting.
The other question is that this is such tendencies are the ones that prompted President Hakainde Hichilema to actually say, I want the revision of the Public Order Act.
Yes,
and
sure.
I don't want that others to suffer the same way I suffered. But if the police would do that, then it means that I think they are going against the president's directive.
Sure. The issue of the Public Order Act has always come up during the campaigns, because you find that it is, for lack of a better term, it is used to oppress other opposition political parties. They will not be allowed to gather, citing the Public Order Act. But when you come into power, the Public Order Act becomes sweet to you, and to the opposition, it has always remained bitter. So I think that we need somebody, and the president himself said he doesn't want people to go through what he went through, and he wants that people to have the freedom. And one way of ensuring that people have that freedom is the issue of the Public Order Act, to allow other political players be able to gather and have their meetings. But it is one of the campaign languages that is sweet to use. But when you get there, you find that actually it is only bitter when you're on the other side. But when you're there, it's something that you can use effectively.
You are right, Kozi. And let's have a look at other stories, so that before we have our guest for the interview, where we look at the UPND. We are reviewing the UPND's performance, up to this month of August. So we will look at how the education sector has fared, and we speak to Moreta, who are going to help us discuss this particular topic, and also they will look at various issues pertaining to teachers' welfare and the multiplication of trade unions. Yeah, so we are going to have our interview up next, but let's have a look at these other interesting stories. And another story where, because we had, you are aware that for actually Fetayari before the court,
sure.
Over that case pertaining to Chief Mukuni, but he was also with the chief, and they were talking, and I was wondering, what would be the conversation here, where the accused and the defendant there, what are they talking about? So let's have a look at a story where opposition National Democratic Congress leader Savoy Imbola has testified before Lusaka Magistrate Court that she shares a good friendship with State House Chief Communications Specialist Clayson Hamasaka. Opening a defense Wednesday morning, Ms. Imbola claimed the charges before the court are political witch hunts, because she has never had a misunderstanding in the more than 20 years of their friendship she shares with the friendship she shares with Mr. Hamasaka. She testified that the post before the court did not refer to Mr. Hamasaka at State House, but someone else. That is quite strange also. Let's also have a look at the story where Economic and Equity Party leader Chilifia Tayari has taken plea in a case where he is accused of harassing Chief Mukuni of Southern Province in 2022. His plea Wednesday afternoon was prompted by an amendment made by the charge sheet by the prosecution. This is in the matter in which Mr. Tayari is accused of harassing the traditional leader Chief Mukuni through social media by alleging that he planned the gassing incident with a view to have President Hakainde Hichilema when he was still in opposition released from prison. So let's have a look at these two stories and we'll be back on the other side. And stay tuned for the interview of the day, and keep those messages coming on our Facebook page. We want to read them out, and we want to interact with you. And remember to give us feedback as our guest comes in. We want to hear your questions and your observations. Keep it on Camnet TV.
Opposition National Democratic Congress leader Savoy Mboila took stand Wednesday morning to defend herself in a matter where she is accused of issuing derogatory remarks against State House communication specialist Clayson Hamasaka by alleging that he is corrupt and takes advantage of vulnerable women who seek employment in the UPND. Opening a defense this morning, Ms. Mboila told Lusaka Magistrate Sylvia Munyinya that the charges she is slapped with are merely a political witch hunt because she shares a good friendship with Mr. Hamasaka. She claims to share more than 20 years of friendship with the complainant, Mr. Hamasaka, and never had any misunderstanding in those years. In this case, the state has slapped the opposition leader with 2 counts of libel, contrary to Section 191 of the Penal Code, Chapter 87 of the Laws of Zambia. She is alleged to have, on the 9th of September 2022, published defamatory matters against State House Chief Communication Specialist Clayson Hamasaka on a Facebook page, alleging that Mr. Hamasaka was developing his firm using corrupt means and is a ghost taking advantage of women who are seeking jobs under the UPND administration. She is further accused of stating that Mr. Hamasaka was caught committing adultery by the wife. However, in a defense this morning, Ms. Mboila claimed the post before court did not refer to Mr. Hamasaka at State House but someone else. The opposition leader also indicated to the court that she plans to present 5 individuals from the UPND bearing the names of Hamasaka to support a defense and will also show their national registration card as proof. In a further testimony, the accused said it was unfortunate that the witnesses that appeared before court concluded that a Mr. Hamasaka referred to in the post was the complainant. She claimed to have maintained a good relation with Mr. Hamasaka, such that he would come to her rescue anytime anyone from the United Party for National Development tried to attack her, and that from 2002 to date they have never fought. The matter comes up on the 15th of September 2023 for continued defense. Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News. Economic and Equity Party leader Chilufya Tali spotted outside the courtroom with Southern Province traditional leader Chief Mukuni shortly after the Lusaka Magistrate Court adjourned his criminal case. The opposition leader was seen talking to the man he is accused of harassing in 2022. Wednesday, the 16th of August 2023, the accused appeared before Magistrate Sylvia Munyinya, where he retook plea. This makes it the 3rd time Mr. Tali is retaking plea, following an application by the state to have the charge sheet amended. The outspoken politician has since pleaded not guilty to 1 count of harassment utilizing means of electronic communication, contrary to Section 69 of the Cybersecurity and Cybercrime Act No. 2 of 2021. Allegations before court are that Mr. Tali accused Chief Mukuni of Southern Province through social media by alleging that he planned the gassing incident with a view to have President Hakainde Hichilema, when he was still in opposition, released from prison. According to the previous charge sheet, Mr. Tali is alleged to have made the accusation toward the senior Chief Mukuni. But in the previous court session, James Chileche, 54, an assistant director in charge of chief affairs at the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development, had testified during cross-examination that the title of Senior Chief Mukuni does not exist. The witness had disclosed in his testimony that Chief Mukuni of Southern Province in Kazungula District does not hold the title of Senior. The new amended charge sheet before court has seen the word Senior removed and some words added. The case has been adjourned to the 19th of September 2023. Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Well, there you have it. Those are interesting stories coming from the court. One from Savoy, where she was talking about that case where she's accused of having defamed State House communication specialist Clayson Hamasaka, and we had a story where Chilufya Tayari was actually accusing the traditional leader Chief Mukuni of having orchestrated the gassing incidents and to help President Hakainde Hichilema released from prison while he was in opposition. those cases are before court, and we continue to uncover them as we proceed. Now, in studio, right now, we've been joined by our guest, and we are going to have a good conversation. Remember, our dear viewers, that we have been talking about, we are reviewing the UPND performance, and today we have someone from the teaching fraternity, the education sector, to help us discuss how was the UPND fared in terms of facilitating policies in the education sector, and we'll be looking at those aspects. And to help us do that, in studio, we have been joined this morning by the Movement for Restoration of Teachers Affairs in Zambia, commonly known as Moreta Zambia, and we have in studio the organization's executive director, Miss Dr. Samuel Mbumba, who is going to help us discuss these issues. Welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you, Patrick, and thank you, the viewers of this great nation.
Interesting. This is the first time we are hosting Moreta on the breakfast show, Thursday edition, where we focus on governance, policy, and politics. And we just want people to get to know who are Moreta. Who is Moreta, first of all?
Thank you very much, Patrick. Moreta is a pro-teacher civil society organization, which is registered by the Registrar of Societies to look at matters affecting the teachers' welfare and education at large in the Ministry of Education. Moreta Zambia is a mouthpiece. It's a voice, it is a movement, it's a revolution group of teachers that is able to speak for itself, even when there is a lacuna in those we have entrusted to speak, and these are the teacher unions. And because these teacher unions have had a lot of issues with their members felt it better to come up with Moreta Zambia in order to begin to speak out certain issues and cause that professional pressure for the unions to wake up and for the government to do the right thing for the teachers.
When you say that unions have had a lot of issues with their members, what are these issues that prompted the formation of Moreta?
Yes, labor movement or the trade unions, they have been empowered by law according to the Industrial Relations and Labor Act, Cap 269, where they're supposed to look at the better conditions of service for the employees. And these unions are the ones that actually are mandated by law to ensure that the workers are well taken care of, and these workers must be able to keep on being productive in this nation while the unions are representing the workers. But then you find that of late, we have so many unions now aboard, which for now they're about 9, and many more to come. And these people now, instead of concentrating on representing the teachers, they are now concentrating on fighting among themselves and leaving the teacher vulnerable without any proper representation. And so you find that many other things have suffered, and a lot of things that teachers are supposed to be restored with, some of the welfare activities, there is no one for them. So the employee is just with the employer, and there is no union in between. So this is actually a very serious issue that Moreta is championing to make sure that these unions wake up, and failure to wake up, Moreta says these unions must merge without fail, and this is long overdue.
And I want to understand, Moreta, are you practicing teachers, or you have excused yourselves from the system?
We are practicing teachers. We are full-time teachers, and we are actually within the system.
How are you working with, I'm interested, with the teacher unions? What kind of relationship do you have?
With teacher unions, with the way Moreta was registered under Societies Act Cap 119 of the Societies, of the laws of Zambia, those are our stakeholders. Trade unions or teacher unions, they are our stakeholders, number one. because we are looking at the Moreta stands for the Movement for Restoration of Education and Teachers Affairs in Zambia. Meaning that we are looking at the teachers' affairs, and this is what unions look at. We are looking at the education at large to see that education receives quality attention, and we are producing quality learners who will be productive tomorrow, and they are the ones that are going to take over your jobs and my job, because we would have empowered them with knowledge and skills. So what it is that with the labor unions or the teacher unions, we work hand in hand. But then you see, it is a trend in Africa. It's not just in Zambia. In Africa, people do not want to be told the truth. When there is a new organization that has come aboard, and that organization has been mandated by law to contribute to the development of this nation, you'll find that these who are supposed to be our stakeholders, they will start receiving you with fear. Right now, there are very few unions that accept Moreta as their stakeholders. And for us, we do not mind, because the law has given us the space to function. The law has given us the space to restore the sanity, and therefore anyone that is still doubting Moreta, any union which is still doubting and not sure about Moreta, for us we forge ahead, for us we move on, because we have got the greater following in this country. And these are the teachers, over 135,000 teachers in the country. So we care more for those that we should save. And we care less for those who should derail the objectives of Moreta. So the unions who are supposed to be with Moreta, and they are skeptical, we will be able to, we keep on dialoguing with them, that we mean well to them. But then there are some other teacher unions who are friends of Moreta, and this we cannot hide. Betuzi has come to accept the objectives of Moreta, and they say, no, look at what Moreta is doing. I think it will be very important that we put our differences aside and ensure that we support each other and make sure that teachers are given the attention that they deserve through the unions and through Moreta. And I think this is the kind of health relationship that we're supposed to be having. And Peru is also another union. Also, we're in good terms. And others are joining on. But it's not a small battle. It's a big one, which requires a resolute mind. And for us, being a revolutionary mind, we are set and established.
Sorry, Patrick, before we leave the issue of establishing who Moreta is, if you, as people who feel that you must represent the teachers, who I must mention that this is one of the professions that is faced with a lot of difficulties, teaching profession, and you come up with organization to try and uplift the welfare of these teachers, and then you, the organizations, are not working together. 135,000 teachers. Don't you feel that these are the ones that will suffer your toxic relationship? Sorry to use that word, with the union teacher unions.
Actually, we are the ones who have suffered. I am a teacher. We are the one who have suffered. Moreta is a pro-teacher civil society organization, meaning that Moreta and teachers, there is actually no line in between. We are one. So we are the people that have suffered. We are the people that are speaking. Moreta is simply a conduit. Moreta is just a vehicle that we are using as teachers to say, shall we liberate ourselves from all these problems that we've been facing? So we first of all, you must understand that Moreta are teachers. Moreta is actually an organization which within itself is nothing but teachers. So these who are against the teachers are the ones we want to speak to. These who are not representing us are the ones we want to speak to. These who are not taking care of our needs are the ones we want to speak to. These who are manipulating us are the ones we are speaking to. These who have taken us for granted are the ones we are speaking to. So, and these are the unions. And these unions must wake up, because as teachers on the ground, countrywide, we are resolved that if the unions continue to trend in this path, we'll have no option but to keep on voicing out on our own as teachers through the voice which we have established, and that is Moreta's hand.
Now, I have a question for you, sir. First of all, when you talk about unions fighting amongst themselves, I think you have enough experience to determine, why do you think there are those leadership wrangles within the unions themselves, as opposed to safeguarding the interest of you as members?
You know, Zambia is a Christian nation, and we need to learn to tell each other the truth.
Yes.
The issues of union fights, in-house fights,
yes,
amongst themselves, has been proven to be based on money issues. You know, from every teacher, they collect a minimum of 100 kwacha every month. So if we do right now a calculation of 100 times, let's say 135,000, because according to the law, it is not mandatory that every teacher must belong to a union. It's not mandatory. It is there clear in the Industrial Relations and Labor Act. It's clear. It's not mandatory that every teacher must belong to a union. No. But now, the unions have found an easy way to access the teachers' payslips anyhow, however, anywhere, how, we do not know. But I can assure you that we have just come to research as Moreta, because Moreta is also a research-based organization. We do not speak from without. We do research. And so we find that if we say 135,000 times a minimum of 100 kwacha, you have 13,500,000 entering the basket of unions a month. 13 million times 12 months, you have 162 million. Come on, Patrick. This is, and then you have Moreta coming to talk about unions. It is war. This is not something small, because these are people that have invested so much. They have amassed free money that is coming from every direction of every teacher. The unions have even forgotten to go into schools to recruit officially as mandated by law, where a teacher is supposed to sign a consent form. But these consent forms are not being signed. Very few unions are signing consent forms, and we can cite them. The majority of these unions are now fighting for the members, because these members now have been found to be God. They are a God that they can make use of, because these teachers cannot speak. These teachers are busy in the classroom. They are overloaded with work. These teachers are very far away. They are scattered. They are in Kaputa. There is what? They can't access Camnet TV here to come and talk for themselves. And that is what annoys them. And that's what made them form Moreta. And now Moreta becomes their mouthpiece and says, I think enough is enough. Let the unions do the right thing. We have these monies entering. Now, not only that, I must tell you that instead of getting the money very well from all these teachers, they are again deducting the same teacher 2 times, 3 times, 4 times. We have payslips here which we can show for proof. A teacher who's supposed to belong maybe to one union, even by force or by fire or by thunder, for God's sake, at least one, yes. But this is a teacher who's now suffering 2, 3. So this 13 million I was telling you is a minimum. They're getting so much. And teachers have cried countrywide. Can we have this thing come to an end? And the Labor Commissioner is now on top of things. He just realizes that I think there is noise in the Ministry of Education because the teacher unions are nowhere. They are in the aircons, they are in the balloon cars, they are in the mansions that are equivalent to those you would think they have sweated for it and get nothing. And I think these are some of the things that we are talking about as Moreta. We have no apology to give. Anyone who is against the teacher is against their own people that they're supposed to serve. Anyone who's against the teacher, anyone who's manipulating the teacher must actually be denounced publicly. And this is why Moreta is there. We have no fear, we have no apology, and we do not actually take any interest in sparing anyone that is torturing the teacher. And these people must be able to come to realization that we mean well and we love them, but if they continue to trend in this path, as teachers, we shall continue to function and continue to speak for ourselves until these unions repent, because we want to see them made.
Now, part of repentance that we're expecting from these unions is in what form? How would you want them be utilizing the resources of the teachers?
Thank you. That's a very healthy question. First of all, the repentance we want to see is that let the teacher unions merge.
One.
We don't want to have fragmented teacher unions. It's not healthy. These teachers, teacher unions are representing the same teachers. A teacher is a teacher. Whether primary, whether secondary, whether private, whether public, a teacher is a teacher. I have never seen, by nature of being created differently, by nature of putting on different bodies, being called different, and yet we are one as human beings. So that is how the teaching fraternity is. We have people with certificates, diplomas, degrees, masters, PhD, but they are teachers. So why should a union pretend to register a union for primary school? This one comes a union for secondary school. This one comes a union for private and public. What are you talking about? This one comes, no, we're united. What are you uniting when a teacher is united already? This one comes, no, it is a progressive. This one comes, no, it is a rural teachers. Come on, ladies and gentlemen, for God's sake. Rural teachers, so what?
Again, we do see shifts, Dr. Mbumba.
Yes.
We do see shifts. You may be a teacher at primary level.
Yes.
So does it mean this teacher, that union that is in that category, let's say B2s, yes, registers you? But you as a teacher, you want to be stagnant. You also move from being at primary level, you go to secondary level. Does that mean you have to change and migrate to CES2s or other unions, for instance?
Patrick,
is that justifiable?
Patrick, that is logic. What you're asking is logic. We are supposed to be reasoning in a logic manner, the way you are thinking. A teacher is not static. A teacher is not stationed. By the way, as long as you are living, you are prone to move. You cannot walk out of the house without movement. Movement is a must. No one is created static. And when you are creating, you see, for me who played football in the village, it's a pity I was not picked for the national team. Me who played the football in the village, I was taught a skill that when you want to give a proper pass, you don't have to pass the ball from behind of the one you are giving. You have to calculate accurately to say, by the time I pass this ball this side, this one who's coming from behind would quickly come and meet it. So what we are now seeing is that those who are educated, who claim to be educated, they are not using the village logic. The education is still in a very questionable state. The knowledge they have amassed is still questionable. they have brought the name of education down. Education which is supposed to be a light of the nation. The individuals involved at the helms of these leaderships of unions, they are not thinking as one. Because if you are thinking progressively, why should you register a union that limits the progress of the teachers? So when you say rural teachers, so that teacher will be in rural forever. Excuse me, what kind of thinking is this? What education do we have? Is it that we have been attacked by the devil? Is it that there is a very big demon that is now waking as we are going towards the end of the world? Who says that a teacher in the rural cannot move? Who says that we have shared ourselves permanent places to serve? What kind of education is this? And that we should be worried because for me, if I look at such a leader who comes up with such a union already, I must be able to say, no, I think you are a very, very, very unprogressive individual in this world. You cannot register a union that is suggesting for you that you'll be there forever. You register at a public teacher. What sense is it making? So, a teacher is a teacher. Even if you are teaching at home, you are teaching at home. These are some of the things that Moreta wants to speak in this country. Let this country wake up. Let the teachers wake up. No one must manipulate the teachers. I think we have been silent for so long. We need to tell the teachers, if it's possible, we need to have even what we call massive withdrawal of belonging to the unions. Until the unions feel the pain, then they'll start doing the right thing. Right now, I think we have reached a stage where we only have hope in the governance system of this country as it is being provided for by the New Dawn government. Because there are a lot of things they're speaking about education. There are a lot of things they're now doing to make sure that education receives that attention that it deserves. As for the teacher unions who are supposed to have been fighting for us, oh my God, if I was to be honest, of which I have always been, Moreta Zambia would never hide anything. We can explain this anywhere. Even in our unconscious state, we shall speak it. The unions have failed. The best thing to do is you merge and merging quickly. We hear they are planning to start the merging process, which is a plus, but I can assure you that it's not the first time this merging process has been held. It was there before.
We've also seen it fail at top level where FFTUZ and ZCTU could not merge, because I remember the Labour Institute was facilitating the merging process with support from the International Labour Organization. But however, that did not come to fruition.
Yes. Patrick, we are talking about money here. Money here. Look at how Moreta Zambia is functioning. Moreta Zambia, no one can accuse it that that doc is speaking because of money. No one can raise a finger to say, no, that doc was, we look at his stomach because he's full of money. No one. No one can challenge us. We do not have any money. No one has come in to bring any donation to Moreta. We are functioning on our pockets. It is a spirit of revolution. It's a spirit of one strong voice. It's a spirit of togetherness. And so we are working for the people without money. And thank God we have institutions like yours that are able to work for the masses out there. You are there to speak for the masses. You are there to liberate the masses. And that is your reward. And that reward when you are working faithfully without money attached, when you are working faithfully without enriching yourself, that is true service. Because we cannot wait for this voice until I'm given money. I've totally nothing. Even where I am here, from this studio, I'm walking. I'm walking from here. I'm walking up to Long Acres. I'll be walking. And that is part of keeping healthy for this body. Not because I'm supposed to come when I have money. Nothing. But when you see these colleagues, the unions, failing to relinquish their positions, failing to unify themselves, it's a selfishness. These unions are selfish. These unions have been surrounded by the spirits which were not for the forefathers of this country. The forefathers for this country sacrificed for this country to be where it is. They sold eggs. They sold chickens to create certain institutions. They gave themselves to death. They gave themselves to torture. They gave themselves to suffering for the sake of you and me to be better today. But then, here we are. The unions, they have money. And the money they have, how are they investing it? The teachers are suffering. There are a lot of credits there. They cannot even come up with the investments that can be plowed back to the members. And the members will now say, yes, I think we've got a union. But here we are. They are not there. Teachers, you find they are going into depressions. Teachers are committing suicide. Teachers are having a lot of issues. The union is not there. It has to take a caring government like the one we have to come in direct to the employee, to come in direct to care for the teacher. It has to take a caring government like the one we have now to sort out issues through the Ministry of Education channels, like the head teachers, the DEBs, the PO, the PS. That is the channel for the teachers. And now, those are our employers. And they cannot keep quiet when they see issues on the ground. That's why even the Labour Commissioner now has come in to say, no, I think enough is enough. Gentlemen, can we sit down and harmonize issues? And that is leadership that the Labour Commissioner is now doing. Because leaving the unions alone, it is actually a very serious tsunami that we are creating in this country.
Thank you very much. Well, our dear viewers, in case you're just joining the conversation, in studio we have Dr. Simon Mbumba, who is the Executive Director for Moreta, Zambia. There is champion the welfare of teachers in the country. In case you have to contribute on the program, you can do so by calling the number that is on your screen, or also leave us a message on our Facebook page. We want to hear from you and what you have to say about what we are looking at. Remember that we started a long time ago. We did zoom in some of the stories on the Camnet Breakfast Show, and we want to hear your views on various stories that we have looked at, and also our topic of discussion with Moreta Zambia as we discuss the welfare of teachers and the plight of the education sector under the United Party for National Development UPND administration. Now, moving on from the subject of unions,
yes,
we have also seen another interesting issue pertaining to the education sector.
Yes.
Teachers are among the highly indebted individuals in this country. Is there a solution, or what should be done to help them out of that situation? What even compels them to be that indebted in the first place?
Patrick, we are not proud to say it openly.
Mm-hmm.
We are not proud to say it openly. Why the issues of teachers are very much known in the public is because the teaching fraternity is the largest. It's the biggest fraternity that we have in the entire country.
Mm-hmm.
And because we are so many, our issues are easily known out there.
Mm-hmm.
But even the other professions, they have got their problems. But why they are not heard is because they are few. So what we are here to say is that we will not just announce public that teachers they are highly indebted. No. No. That one we can't do.
Mm-hmm.
It's our bedroom issue. But one thing which is for sure is that the problems for teachers have become open. Because
before
teachers...
you explain, I think someone wants to engage us.
Okay.
Before you explain that point, keep it.
Okay.
Let's have an interaction. Hero, you are through to the Camnet Breakfast Show. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. I'm Peter Kalenga calling from Kasama.
Kasama. How is Kasama this morning?
Kasama is cool. Good morning, Dr. Sam.
Good morning, PK Shukombe.
And thanks for your voice.
Thank you very much, Shukombe.
We want to hear from you. You can go ahead.
The issue at hand. The teacher indebtedness. I want to comment on the teacher's indebtedness. Do we have a solution? Yes, we do. And how did they find themselves at that level? The EO's carelessness led to that. If they cared for the conditions for bargaining better conditions of teachers, I don't think teachers would have gotten so much indebted. That's my view. I don't think they would have gotten to that extent. Meaning, if one day these unions wake up and go, come, let's reason together, and come back together. We're one family. We are sending the same people, the same teacher. That's 155,000 number of teachers Dr. Sam has mentioned. It's one family. All that we need is to buy our selfish interest and reason. Now, the way things are, we have talked about in 2017, for example, there was an attempt to form one union, the Zambia Teachers Union, something like that. Yes, in 2017. It was supported by some regional organizations, particularly by the regional organizations. 4 unions came on board. But thereafter, because they have selfish interest, they decided to have seen springing of more and more unions. That's their own right. Of course, they can form their own right according to unions. They have got the right to do so. But the unions that are coming on board, I pray that those may be vehicles of reasoning, arranged together with other unions, so that eventually they come back to their senses and merge as the kind of thing. There's a provision of amalgamation by section 15 of chapter 269 of the laws of Zambia, which is the Industrial Labor Relations Act, provides for amalgamation. Of course, it's voluntary. The unions have to voluntarily amalgamate. They have to voluntarily come together. It's a matter of trade union will. The political will within the union should be seen to work. Otherwise, the teachers are not supposed to be this high indebted. They contribute so much. If they contribute so much and the union really cared for them, they should have seen a way of making sure their contributions are brought back. In other terms, we use terms like corporate social responsibility. I wish there was that corporate social responsibility spread back to the teachers. I thank you.
Thank you very much for your contribution. You too can join the conversation, just like our previous caller was making their opinion known on the program, and we get the conversation going. Doc, you were explaining something before I interrupted you.
Yes.
And you can proceed. You were talking about what you can divulge and what you cannot. And
yes, Patrick. First, I must thank PK. That is the one who was called is Peter Kalenga. We call him Shukombe, because he understands Moreta. He's one of the founders of Moreta. He has been with Moreta, and his blood is Moreta. He's speaking that with passion because he knows exactly where we started from, and he knows that we have not departed from the vision, and he knows where we are heading to, because Moreta Zambia is the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow. We believe in the same. So if these things are not changed as we are speaking, Moreta shall continue to voice out. Even if they make you tired, even if they make you feel the BP, even if they make you feel like Moreta has no respect, that doesn't matter. Change the way of doing things as unions. If you don't change the way of doing things as unions, Moreta shall continue to bite. And we have got big teeth. You can see mine. Very big teeth. We can bite because we mean serious business as Moreta. So what it is that we, as teachers, yes, more, especially the news that has gone in the public that we're highly indebted. Okay, we can accept it's already in the public domain, but Should that be a cry all over? No. We need to find a solution, and PK has just mentioned that. These unions who are getting free money, we are using the word free because it is free. It's supposed to be freely they get, freely they give. That is biblical. But freely they give, hard they give. I don't know if we are now giving, I don't know. I found myself on a payslip, on a certain union on my payslip, which up to now I have not approached them. Because the day I will rapture, it will be very bad. I've been having that union for so long on my payslip, and I'm just looking at it. And I said, this can be one of my ammunitions to use when I want to go personal. But because we are leaders, we have to represent the interest of others, not mine. I'm affected, but I'm not fighting my issues. I have given myself together with my team in Moreta, together with those who pray for Moreta, that we deny ourselves for the sake of others. And now, what is happening is that the solutions of this indebtedness for teachers, these unions who get these monies, they're supposed to have bargaining power. The bargaining power they're supposed to have is to put the interest of the teacher first. They're supposed to say, these teachers are indebted. How do we do it? How do we resurrect them from where they are? But Patrick, I can tell you that these teachers have no agenda for, these unions have no agenda for the teachers. If you meet any union leader today, you will see how they will be barbering in terms of talking. They would want to talk this and that without a vision. And this is really unfortunate. Very uncalled for. It's unprofessional, it is unethical, it is unchristian, and it is actually a behavior that can actually be surrendered to God. That behavior is supposed just to be surrendered to God and let God do his cause, because he's the one who equalizes everybody. Whether you are rich or poor, whether you are clever or not, whether you're educated or not, he's the one who equalizes everybody. Otherwise, we need a solution.
Let's take in another call.
Okay.
We have a caller on the line. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Your name and where you're calling us from?
This is Mr. Msonda.
Mr. Musonda, you can go ahead with your contribution.
Okay, my submission is that also the appreciate the formation of in that other people down, and we have not benefited from it. Tried hard to make sure that we voice out. That voice out because most of the time when those people have their money, we don't understand that goal. And the fact of the matter, I think some unions to come up with a new idea and making sure this voice is out there.
The line is fluctuating.
You will find that it is even less than 200. And look at the money that comes, which is too much, and nothing works better for anything. Even when they are elected, that these people that elections that which of the taking their interest is also much lower. We appreciate that we don't the party trying to put things back. We have been suppressed of we want at least one on the field. That's my contribution.
Thank you very much. I know we had a fluctuating line, but we did manage to pick one or two things there.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think the conversation is not far from what we're talking about. It's just agreeing to the things that you are presenting there. It feels that there is more that that can be done to safeguard the interest of teachers. You can proceed.
Yes. So let's find a solution to remove teachers from these debts. One thing we expect to see these unions do as they go to bargain is number one, let them bring the smile to the teachers. We have seen how government is taking care, is trying to do things for the teachers, but that is unusual because the one that teachers are supposed to get a relief from is actually the union. Because we know these are our people who are supposed to go for bargaining. And now these unions have been forsaken because they are divided. They are 9. Even when the employer, the government calls them to sit, there is no hole that they can fit. There is nowhere now where they can fit because each one has an entourage of about 5. 5 times 9 is how many? We are almost going to 50, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Just for one meeting, which the government wants to explain to a union. You have all those following as if it's a rally. This is uncalled for. Even the government cannot trust the unions. Even the government will have problems to deal with these unions because these unions are fragmented. This one will talk about this. This one has this interest. This one has that interest. At the end of the day, you find a discussion with a government that's supposed to take 3 hours. It will take 30 days because of the rally that the unions have come with. Those rallies, we don't need them. Those rallies, they're unhealthy. It actually shows that education, we are not coordinating. And as Moreta Zambia, we call upon the government that this year's bargaining, maybe let it just pick one biggest union. One biggest union goes for bargaining. Let others submit their proposals through one biggest union. Because we need to promote sanity and order. This country is surrounded by law. And the laws of this country provide that we need to have order in the manner we operate. This time there's disorder in teacher unions. There's totally disorder. Even the devil has run away because there is nothing for the devil to can fight the union. There's nothing because they have already been warned by nature. These are people that are actually failing to do the right thing. So let one big union represent the teachers. Let there be sanity. Let there be harmony. And we make sure that these others, they should just wait for that big union to come back from the bargaining so that we have quality things to and if we go in that direction, with the listening government we have, I can assure you the package for teachers will be better. And all of you will smile because when teachers are many, they are housing not less than 6 people in their homes. And if they are 135,000 and you have a minimum of 6 people in a home, you are talking of already seriously a number of the citizens under the care of the teachers. And those 6 who are in our homes, they have got their friends. And those friends have got friends. So when a teacher is empowered, the whole nation is empowered actually. I've heard that slogan of saying, you empower a woman, you empower the nation. But not only a woman, you empower a teacher, you empower the nation. Because it's only a teacher that loves you from your childhood. It's only a teacher who can see you where you are today. It's only a teacher when your family rejects you because you're a problem child. A teacher will receive you to whip you into line so that you become a better tomorrow, an individual who's better. It's only a teacher, even with your neighbors, even if you have been rejected by anybody, but you keep on going to school. You find the hope in the teacher. This teacher keeps on making you who should be. And today, you are here, you are putting on neckties. We are very proud because we are the teachers that made you be where you are today. So I think this is the heart we need to have for this country. Let these unions save the teachers. Otherwise, these teachers, when we empower them, we empower the nation. And this year's bargaining, we need to make sure that it is very sound, and we are very hopeful in the New Dawn government. It has so far not failed us because they are doing things that we have never seen before. Where it is a plus, let's give it a plus. Where we're supposed to clap, let us clap. Because these are some of the things that we have not been seeing. Even on the issues of recruitment, we are saying this is 2023. let them come aboard and begin to recruit some more, because we still have a shortfall in the Ministry of Education. The teachers, we are still understaffed. But you saw the massive recruitment which the New Dawn government did. Nobody has ever had that record in this country. Since inception of this nation, it came with a bang. 30,000. And that pace which the New Dawn has set has given us more hope that we are going to have more jobs brought into the education sector. So what we are doing now is that as Moreta Zambia, we are saying, can we complement the efforts of government? Can we ensure that we do not fail this government that means well? But when you look at these people who are now failing government, these unions who are failing government, we are saying, can you wake up? Because if you don't wake up, as teachers, we speak for ourselves. And that will be an unfortunate thing. And it will be pointless for that certificate of registration to keep on being with you when you're failed to represent the teachers. So the Labour Commission is supposed actually to start revoking all those registrations that they gave to these unions, who others are just on paper, others are just on issues. They have gone rampant on scavenging for money. They have gone rampant on doing dealings that are unstable, that are very clandestine, that are not healthy, and that are not beneficial to the teachers. I think this is what we are calling for. All in all, Patrick, do not misunderstand Moreta Zambia. We are saying we've got respect for the trade unions. Unions supposed to be respected. Respect is actually earned and not commanded. You cannot command respect if you are nothing. You need to earn it. You need to move with the people. You need to serve the people. You need to sacrifice. You need to speak for them. You need to be there for them. Then respect will come to you. But the reason we are speaking like this as if we are against the unions is because they are nowhere near. Unionism itself is the way to go. It's a backbone of every productive economy. That is unionism. Labor movement is something which is a backbone of every nation.
We are talking about, I want to tap into your perspective. As we were talking about the figures, I was looking at about 13 million. Now, I'm looking at, for example, I think, what about if teachers, for example, teachers' unions start investing big, for example, in this economy and be able to make enough resources to be able to empower their members? Because I don't see any major difference with what NAPSA is doing, for example. If they are able to generate that enough resource, for example, and NAPSA is investing the workers' money, and now it is paying back the workers' money because it has invested in a lot of projects, it's able to pay back. And we are talking about the Zambian economy that is highly dominant by foreign investors. How can these unions become part of the investors and make sure that they utilize the workers' money and empower their members?
Okay, Patrick, if all of us thought the way you are thinking, this will be a better Zambia that we have longed for. First of all, you need to understand that right now Zambia is preparing itself to shift from the low-income country to a middle-income country using the Vision 2030. And so all faculties around the economy of this country, they're supposed to be going towards that trajectory. Unions, as you have said, they're supposed to be planning on how to contribute to the development of this country. Unions, as you have said, they're supposed to be having activities that seems to be empowering, that seems to be investing, that seems to be a clear roadmap, so that even the teachers understand that as we are shifting, the entire nation as it's shifting from low-income country to a middle-income country by 2030 as a vision, teachers should be also seeing that route being provided for by the teacher unions. But it's not the case. These teacher unions don't even know the 2030 vision. They have no idea about it because from the way they are trending, it is clear that they are not preparing the teachers to shift. They are preparing the teachers to remain the same. And if it's not the same, even poor. While the entire country and the nation and the leadership of this country is preparing to take everybody aboard on the plane to land into the middle-income country by 2030 vision, the teacher unions have not yet even seen which route to go. That's why they are not investing. There are very few unions have followed. Moreta, as I've told you, that it's a research-based organization. We have followed some of these unions, how they are doing. Some unions have been claiming to do investment. For 20 years, they are still investing on something that we have not seen. But they'll tell you, if you meet them, they'll tell you, go this side, we have an investment. Go this side, we have a... There's no investment, doesn't yield results. Patrick, which investment should be there for so long and doesn't yield the result? Which investment? Where have you seen? Because you have short-term programs, you have got mid-term programs, and you have got long-term programs. Short-term programs must yield results shortly. Mid-term must be seen to say this is for mid-term. Long-term, this is for long-term. But look at, when you ask these unions, are you investing at? Yes, actually. Come. Now, you are talking to me as an individual. What about a country that doesn't know where you're investing? And now, a few have taken us to their investments. We have seen. Yeah? We can, like Betus. Betus, we are now seeing one or two things. They are actually able to tell the public what they are doing. We are able to cite them because they are the ones who have invited Moreta to say, Moreta, don't just talk. Can you come here? Betus has brought us closer by telling us, look, for us, these are the people we have refunded. You can call them and prove that we deducted wrongly from them and we realize that this is wrong and we have refunded them. That is Betus. Betus has called us to their offices and has said, look, this is what we are doing. Of course, we have more plans, but I think we are trying by all means to go through. But then you have these other unions who have closed themselves up, and Moreta doesn't know what these unions are doing, and they expect Moreta to speak good about them when we don't know.
Let's have a call. Hello, you are through to the Camnet Breakfast Show. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, may we have your name and where you're calling us from?
Speak up.
Are you able to speak up? We are unable to get you clearly.
I'm saying this is Mr. Konga from Mufulira.
Mr. Konga?
Yes, sir. Calling from Mufulira.
From Mufulira, okay. You can go ahead with your contribution, sir.
Yes, I understand that decision that is yes. It is the part of this teacher's union. When teachers are getting more progress in education, instead of giving the one on the road, that is the one only high. What is the meaning of that?
Okay. It's taken.
You did pick
yes,
that?
It has been taken.
Okay. All
yes.
right. You can go ahead and respond.
Yes. You see, the money lending institutions, they are in that business, and they must make profit. And actually, they do their business according to the current economy. So they will not really just look at the teachers. They will look at anyone who qualifies to get that loan. Hence, we find that the lending institutions, they don't have much competitors. The competition is not there. And that's why we are saying, look, as teachers, because we are many, why can't we come up with our own bank? We can put that money, which the unions have, into the investment of the bank. And begin to, when there's this bank, we begin to do what we call special programs for our teachers, because it's the teachers' money and it is the teachers' interest. If this teacher is highly indebted, that bank can pay off for that total amount to where that teacher has got that money from, and this teacher is relieved. Then this teacher is made now to be paying slowly for that kind of gesture, maybe a 2% or a 5%, not bad. While that credit which that teacher has been saved from was paying it at 40%. But now we have a teacher's bank that has teachers' interest. They will start relieving their fellow teachers from problems, and then sort them out by ensuring that these teachers can begin to contribute now back because you have helped them slowly at a rate that does not hold their neck. This is kind of progressive that we should be having as a nation. We need to be looking at such kind of things. But these unions, I don't know where they're taking the money. Check on how they are changing the cars. Check on how they are dressing. Check on how they are eating. Check on who they talk to. They can't talk to me, who is a commoner. They can't. I don't even know when I last saw a union passing through school. If they pass through, it's until they have bought new clothes. That's when you see them passing school. It is an unfortunate thing in this country. We need to not allow that to continue because it is really something that is worrying. It is something that even as we pray, I do not know which God we are praying to, who doesn't give us the conscience to actually realize that we're in the wrong. And this is the prayer Morita has. We are praying for our labor unions, for our teacher unions. These leaders, we are praying for them. That one day, may they be struck by the Holy Ghost and ensure that they repent by coming to a realization that teachers need proper service from them. They need actually to know that by merging, they'll be saving the money. Because when they merge, that money will be put in one basket. And when it is in one basket, we'll have a lot of programs. But when you divide the money, you look at it from what you are getting, you think it is small because you are dividing it. So let us allow this merging process to come into fruition. And we do not know if it is going to take place, but we hear rumors that merging has started, the talks are there. And all those who are going to merge will be in the books of this country because they would have shown the spirit of Ubuntu. They would have shown the spirit of togetherness, the spirit of unity. And Moreta will never fail to rally behind anyone with the intentions of merging. And we shall be proud to actually announce it publicly that let the teachers support these unions who are about to merge. And we shall witness. And we want to make sure that those unions must bring Moreta closer so that we check what they are doing, because we have seen it in the past to say they are merging, and yet it was sugarcoating, and they never merged. And we cannot be cheated again. We are not that fools. We are very, very enlightened, and we are people that are educated, and I think we are able to follow these things and track them, how far they will go. So therefore, let Moreta just be made available to its activities of the teacher unions. Let Moreta be involved. Let them explain. Just as I've said, Betuz has been calling Moreta, can you come here? Can you come here? Why? Because they have seen that Moreta is the voice of the teachers. And if Moreta is not made known of what we are doing, Moreta will keep on demolishing us on the public platforms. Because for us, we don't care. We don't spare anyone. Whoever is doing wrong, we say wrong. We will denounce you. No matter how good you are, we'll denounce you if you're doing something wrong. And so let these unions begin to involve Moreta. Let Moreta be brought nearby, not to be seen as enemies. If they will see Moreta as enemies, we'll keep on talking about them. But if they'll see us as partners, as stakeholders, then we'll understand what they are doing. And if we understand what we are doing, we'll start citing them as we are doing. We'll start actually quoting them in public, quoting them anywhere we are, without fear and favor, because we'll explain to the people what this union is doing. Right now, unions are closed up. They do not want Moreta. They want to see Moreta fail. And then they are looking at Moreta. They are not looking at the teachers. They don't know that Moreta are the teachers. They don't know that Moreta is actually that teacher in Shangombo, that teacher in Kaputa, that teacher in Shiwangandu, that teacher everywhere. It's Moreta. So we want to ask the unions to sober up, let them be serious, let them be professional. Moreta will support them. Moreta will support every union. That means well. So far, so good. I can assure you that in education, we are hopeful for a lot of things. We now have our hope on the new Dawn government. That is just the only hope we have left with. Nothing else. We don't have another hope. The unions are nowhere. They have lost the teachers. The unions cannot trust themselves, therefore they cannot be trusted by anyone. So that is what we are here.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mbumba, for giving us a visit and giving us your perspective pertaining to our topic of discussion regarding the welfare of teachers. We hope that you do answer, respond to our call once we call on you again.
We are always available. Moreta, I've told you that as long as the legs are working, we can reach. We don't depend on the vehicles. We don't have a vehicle. We don't have money. We don't have anything. But we have got strong legs.
What about a time when Moreta is bought off?
By who?
To speak, by the leaders who do not want to speak about whatever Moreta wants to represent.
Moreta.
You speak so passionately.
And when they say, Dr. Sam, can you keep quiet?
Come on. Moreta, let me tell you, behind this voice you are seeing or you are hearing, behind Dr. Mbumba is a very serious, committed National Executive Committee. Behind me, there's a very serious, committed, the Board of Governors. I do not appear on my own. It is a prayer prayed by these people who are serious, men and women. And if you try by all means to doubt Moreta that maybe they can be bought, who would have been bought a long time ago. We started in 2018, the journey. 2018 up now, we're still moving. Those who are giving us, let them give us. It's fine. It's not their money, it's for teachers.
Well, you sound like you have, I know that we are running out of time, we should be closing. You sound like you have better plans for teachers than most of
yes,
us.
as an association, what do you intend to do? Because sometimes you associations do receive funding, and that sometimes they can be even be empowered by even the donor community to implement projects for teachers.
And when you become a union leader, what would you have to do for the teachers?
We will never be union leaders. Moreta would never shift to being a union.
But members can be taken to, so you're a member.
Members can be taken to unions, but being embedded with the philosophy of Moreta-ship, they'll continue to serve with the mind as we have groomed every member in Moreta. Whatever they are, they will serve with this mind, because we are saying, can we serve the people? So Moreta will never be a union, and Dr. Sam will never be a unionist. I am, together with my team, civil society organizers. We are enjoying the civil society space, which gives us more comfortability to air out, because we are able to do checks and balances. A person who does checks and balances enjoys that freedom than entering into something that you commit to do and you fail to do. That's why you find these unions are now closing their doors and failing to meet the teachers. It's because they thought they can look out for our production. We are bringing out a literature which is going to explain to the public as why are there so many unions in Zambia. And when it comes out, it will come out, even me, I'll close my eyes because it's quite serious document. It will reveal exactly why there are these issues. Otherwise, with the Moreta, the plans we have for the teachers, number one is to liberate them from all these outstanding issues, like unions accessing teachers' payslips without teachers giving consent to them. It is illegal, and the law enforcers of this country must take interest in this and ensure that they begin to arrest whoever at PEMIC is putting bad inputs. The PEMIC system has also failed us. How can a union come to you and say, can you click and add Mbumba to say, I belong to this union? And then you start clicking because of a brown envelope. The law will catch up with you.
Are you saying
we are not happy with such PEMIC end users who are conniving with unions to start putting, imputing details that a teacher has not consulted. So let these law enforcers and corruption commission come in. Where are they? Because this country is governed by laws. And I think it's supposed to be in order. This individual cannot take people into suffering. This individual cannot begin to sell people. Let them come in and begin to check what is happening. Otherwise, we have that boy, we have that girl at the machine who's imputing wrong things. And once we discover you, things will not be okay for you.
You're saying unions corrupt PEMIC to deduct monies from teachers?
There is no deduction that will come on my payslip without a certain person putting an input. There's no one. I cannot find a 200 deducted on my payslip without somebody who was evil to input that. A person who's inputting supposed to look at documentation. Has Samuel Mbumba signed anywhere? Has this, if it's a loan from a bank, they would find my signatures and everything, my documents I have signed, and authorize the bank to deduct it from me. Then the person at input will say, wow, this is legal. Then they input. If it is from the union, they're supposed to see, oh, Mbumba Samuel, yes, has signed consent form. Very good. He's here. You are saying, please remove this old union, put this new union. Very good. The person imputes. But what is happening is, if we are not suspecting, then we are sure.
That they get brown envelopes?
Yes, if we are not suspecting, then we are sure that they are getting brown envelopes to cause teachers to suffer, to cause teachers all this pain. And God is looking at those individuals. They will not go very far.
There you have it. This is where we have to call it a day on the Camnet Breakfast Show. Interesting discussion. We're looking at the teachers' welfare, and we had Dr. Samuel Mbumba, who is coming from Moreta. He is the executive director. From me, myself, Patrick Soko, and Makopa Kozi, this is where we have to call it a day. But do make a date with Prudence Shota as she comes with business for breakfast tomorrow, and make sure that you make a date and get an update pertaining to the mining sector as of tomorrow. This is where we have to excuse the screen. Keep it on Camnet TV.